Hello and welcome back to the horror of video games. Right guys, what I want to talk about today is hard difficulty on Resident Evil. I find this difficulty to be probably the most fascinating difficulty on Resident Evil, ignoring real survival mode, which I think is rather tedious and unnecessary in this game. I think for the true experience, like I was describing in the last video, the true experience of the remake is on hard difficulty, and specifically playing with Chris, I tend to favour Chris when I play as Resident Evil. I will probably make another video why I think Chris is better than Jill, but anyway. So what happens with hard difficulty is the game changes into this kind of tactical tactical experience, really. For example, using health packs, using herbs, and also I find a fairly legitimate tactic in this game is to disable the automatic use of defense items. So for example, if you want to save your frag grenades, or you want to save your taser or your daggers, you know, I think it's a perfectly legitimate strategy to just disable using defense items. So you get attacked, you lose your health, and you get damaged, and then you just move forward. I think this sounds sort of counterintuitive when you say it, but actually on hard difficulty it makes the most sense to sometimes just completely disable defense items. And also there's a need to be kind of opportunistic on hard difficulty. For example, in the cemetery area outside the mansion there are 2 zombies there, and if you're lucky you can dodge the 2 zombies and quickly grab the shotgun ammo, which is just outside, and then dodge the zombie on the way out. And I think that there are moments like this in the game where you have to be quite opportunistic. And also a little trick is to, when you're about to leave the mansion, when you're about to go to the residence, you have to remember that any zombies you kill before you leave the mansion, they will completely disappear by the time you return. So they won't turn into crimson heads, they won't be able to attack you when you get back. So just try and bear in mind that there's a slight bug in the game where if you kill any zombies before leaving the mansion, they will completely disappear when you get back, so just bear that one in mind. And also, where you blow the dog whistle to get the dog collar for the imitation key, there's some herbs growing outside, and you can use them 3 times, I think. And on hard difficulty, you really, really have to abuse those herbs, because, you know, health is scarce, and I often found myself going backwards and forwards between that area to heal up and carry on with the game. And I think my points are aimed at people who aren't really interested in doing speed runs. I'm more interested in giving my thoughts to the style of play which is cautious and which is methodical, really. You know, very, very systematically works your way through the mansion. This is how I like to play Resident Evil. I like to take my time, I like to stay in the safe zones and just plan out my strategy, think which corridor should I go through next, how many resources do I have. This is how I love to play Remake, this kind of slow build-up, this slow tactical play, and thinking about the consequences of your actions, thinking about the chain reaction of, if I do this, then I sacrifice this, and if I lose this, then I can't go through this corridor and fight this zombie. It really is this kind of web of intertwining options in this game, which is utterly fascinating. I also find with Chris that a fairly legitimate strategy is to hold on to all of your frag grenades until the very end of the game, when you get to the lab, because, you know, I find that if you can just headshot all the zombies at the end of the game, you save your magnum rounds and you headshot all the zombies in the lab, I feel this will make your life a lot easier, because you don't need to worry about crimson heads, you don't need to worry about anyone coming to life when you're carrying the nitroglycerine, you know. So I think, as Chris, it's a very good strategy, I think, to hold on to as many frag grenades as possible and use them all in the lab section. And also, if you're fighting the Tyrant as well, you need those grenades to kind of fight him off and, you know, do a bit of damage as well to escape his grasp. And also, what happens in hard difficulty is that you have to the relative value of bullets comes into play. For example, one Magnum round is equivalent to 4 shotgun shells, I think. So maybe someone will be able to correct me on that, but I think roughly speaking, one Magnum round is 4 or 5 shotgun shells, I think, anyway. And so what happens is, when you're fighting Plant 42, it's not really a sensible idea to use all your shotgun rounds. So, and in the same way, it's not entirely sensible to use all your Magnum rounds. So what I did when I played against Plant 42 is that you mix it up. You use maybe 2 or 3 Magnum rounds and then 4 or 5 shotgun rounds, and this kind of balancing act, this kind of economy of damage that the bullets can create, this doesn't exist on normal difficulty. This really isn't an issue, but when you start playing on hard difficulty, it's the relative value of bullets which comes into play, and I find that very, very interesting. And also, one of the key components of survival horror is just being able to run away, just being able to run around people, really. And it's demonstrated perfectly with Resident Evil. It's a perfectly legitimate strategy to just completely ignore all the zombies in the mansion, to try and run around every single one. That is a perfectly okay strategy, and I'm sure there are people out there who can do that perfectly. I can't do that. I'm not very good at dodging the zombies in this game. I actually enjoy shooting the zombies. I enjoy engaging with them, and I find I'm not quite good enough to dodge every single zombie. I haven't got that much practice. So once again, just running around is a perfectly acceptable option, and a very valid one. And then you have, in the mansion, you have 2 save rooms. You have the medical area and you have the east stairway area. Now, it's quite important. These 2 areas are so important that you clear these areas quickly. And it's that balancing act. Do I have enough kerosene? Will I get the headshots? But I would say, if you were going to prioritize one of the save rooms, it would be the medical save room, because you often have to go backwards and forwards with the serum to save Richard, and so it kind of helps if that area is completely clear. But the main aim at the beginning of the game is to completely clear those save areas, and I feel this amazing sense of relief once I've cleared all the zombies in those areas, and I think I got a bit lucky when I was playing on hard, because I got 4 headshots. This is very, very lucky. Now, if that didn't happen, I think I would have been in a bit of trouble. I would have run out of kerosene, and maybe something would have happened, Crimson Heads possibly. So I got a little bit lucky, but the primary focus when you're playing this game is to clear out those save areas, making those areas safe, and this should be any player's #1 priority when playing on hard and generally playing this game. You may also find that by the time you get to the lab section on hard, you may find you have quite a lot of pistol ammunition. I mean, I found I had about 50 pistol rounds by the time I got to the end, and it's like I was saying about the relative value of ammunition. When you get, once again, it's a very good strategy, I think, anyway, to just use up all your pistol ammo and combine it with kerosene to get rid of all the zombies. Like I said, if that doesn't work, then you use your frag grenades to behead them, because you want to save all your ammunition for the tyrants at the end and the chimeras, because there seems to be endless chimeras towards the end of the game. I mean, just as a random guess, I'd say there must be maybe a dozen or so chimeras at the end of the game, and you need your shotgun ammo and your magnum ammo to take care of them. So I think it's a good strategy to, once you've hoarded all your pistol ammo, to use it in the lab section at the end of the game, because your pistol ammo is completely useless against the tyrant. So I think that's a fairly good strategy in my opinion. And also, there's a room in the lab which is completely unnecessary. Of course, if you're trying to save your teammates, go ahead and use this room. But there's one room in the lab which, you have to fight 2 chimeras, and it's like an operating table or something. It's like a surgery kind of room. It's kind of really unnecessary to go in this room. So, because to be honest, when I was playing on hard, I was really more concerned with saving myself rather than saving my team members, unfortunately. Okay, so those are some of my thoughts on hard difficulty. I would strongly recommend anyone who's a fan of playing this game. It's my firm belief that playing this game on hard is far more enjoyable because it opens up this fantastic tactical play which just isn't present on normal difficulty. This kind of constant balancing act, this kind of strategic forward thinking, like, will I have enough ammunition to get past this corridor? Will I get past here? And this kind of thinking does not occur when you're playing on normal or easy. These kind of micro tactical considerations come into play in hard difficulty, and it really is a fascinating balancing act. And I would say also it's a very stressful experience, but it's by far the most enjoyable way to play this game. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe. You can tweet me at thehorrorofvg, or you can see my blog at thehorrorofvideogames.com. See you next time.